It appears to be raining here at the chateau. We have a few pigs. And we have a few people doing their job. This is good. A few things have changed since last we were here. And we're going to start up here and see if we can walk through and remember what got changed. Yeah, there was stuff here. It's not there no more. Yeah, we found another door. We set up an area so that we can start working with some copper. Pigs are back. Hi there. We have created our pit kilns and even fired some crocks. That's good. We need to put some food away. Let's go see what's going on in the garden. Yeah, I put in some more gates so we no longer have to run around to get in here. Cabbage looks good. Okay, Violante needs a nap. Yeah, this stuff looks really good. Ooh, onions. Ooh, those are almost done. 4 of 5. Nice. And look at this. A growing pumpkin. Nice. Uh-oh. Withered pumpkin vine. What does that mean? Does that mean we're not going to get a pumpkin? Yeah, this one's never going to grow. I have no idea. Well, remember when we replanted it, we had accidentally pulled out a healthy growing pumpkin plant, and it just never recovered. Alright, you can see we're having a few computer hesitations here. I do believe that is all that got fixed and or changed. Let's go take a little trip up here and see if anything up here. It looks like all the rooms are intact. I do believe all the roofs and ceilings are intact. I did go around the outside of the building, all the buildings, and replaced the chunks that were missing. I filled in the gap up here. It was probably meant to be open, but I prefer it to be closed off, so I filled in that gap. Oh yeah, this turned into our fuel room. And I do believe that really is all that changed. Oh, I need to put another, maybe a bit of a brace right there, just to kind of complete that look. Yeah. Anyway, not at this moment. Right now, we are going to talk about where we have been the last few days. We took a few days away from the chateau, and we went to another world And we did some pretty intense mod training. As in, I learned how to use a couple of the mods that are not just plug and play. And we are going to go and revisit that little excursion. Right after we check the cellar. Really? There's lightning in the cellar? Let's make sure everything down here is as it should be. Do we have any food cooked? No, but we have rot. Great. Oh, hey, what's this? A bowl with a meal. What? That's it? Brain stew? Okay. We'll have to look at this. Bowl with meal. Half a serving of bushmeat brain stew with boiled chicken of the woods and carrot. Mmm. Sounds good. Oh, look at that. It filled me up. Even with a little bit to spare. Okay. Right. Let's go upstairs and pull out the picture album from our training excursion. Trust me. This will be fun. It's always fun to learn new things. When we arrived, the world is as you see it. We were then given a lantern and told to build. So what you see here, we built. We were shown this beautiful kitchen and told that we would learn to do all these things. A refrigerator with storage in it. Kitchen cabinets with storage. The lower ones do not have storage as of yet. We're still learning some things. We made a beautiful chimney for inside of the kitchen area here. Lighting. Hot lights. Oh my. We did a lot of learning. And while we were here, we lived on cured meat and fruit. Milk and cherry juice. Ooh, a fruit press. It's quite the adventure. More pot light. Dresser drawers with storage. Yeah. And if I can remember, I am going to tell you how we did all of this. We're going to fill this room with a new kitchen. The first thing you should know about where we are is that it's not a safe place. That is a rift. That is a rift. We are surrounded by these things, and we have been the whole time we've been here. We can hear grinding and scraping and some moaning But as of yet, we have not encountered anything that we couldn't handle. As a precaution, we did put these little lights around the perimeter. And we don't stray too far from the safety of a building. Now, the first thing that we had to do was decide what material we wanted to make our kitchen out of. We got to choose from this vast library of options. We are going to choose debarked larch log. We're going to grab a dozen or so of those. Let's try a little debarked redwood. For the countertops, marble. I think that will also be our sink material as well. All right. Let's head out to the shop and see what we can do. It's very gloomy here. It's odd seeing nothing going on out there. One of the first things that we had to do was get familiar with our tools. Well, you're all familiar with the knife. We won't be using that here. A hammer, the chisel, a pantograph, a wrench, a steel wedge, and a steel planer. These are the primary tools that we will be focusing on. And we're going to talk about the chisel. This is a true chisel. This particular item is not like a standard chisel. This chisel, from what I'm told, is very costly, but it allows you to do the work of a chisel without a hammer in your offhand, which is good because sometimes you need that little bit of extra light. So we're going to put this hammer over here with the other tools that we will not be using except when we need them. The only tools that we will have on hand are these you see here. I think one of the first things that we should do is light up this room. We are getting a bit of light through here, but when it gets dark out, this room's going to get very dark. And I actually think I would rather have a wood ceiling. This is going to be a new kitchen. So, we're going to take all this out and put in a wood ceiling. And there is our new ceiling. We need to look for a light block. I'm going to use this one here, light level 12, so it's not blinding. We're going to grab a dozen or so of those. We have other options here if you wanted to make your light bars with any other light block. You could choose any of these. We also have a few blocks left over from the ceiling, which we're going to need, because you just never know when we're going to need to replace one. All right. First thing we're going to do is identify our center block. Now this is all just preference. This is my way of doing it. I'm not telling you any of this is right or wrong. This is my way. I want a light here in the center. I'm going to use the chisel, highlight the chisel, right click on the block. Hit F I am going to choose this 8x8 because this is 1/4 of the block. This is going to help me find the center. So I'm going to take that bit out. Now right here is the center. Hit F again. And I'm just going to take out 3 deep of that little area. Now if I go back to F and choose that, and in this same area, right click, it puts the material back. Back to F, choose the little one, 1, 2, 3. There's my pot light. Now to put light in that area, we need to stay on our block, hit F, grab our light block, and put it here. Now we have 2 materials. Now we're going to choose this and that. I'm holding my Alt key down, otherwise my surface will spin around as I'm doing this. Right click, and I just put a little bit of light in there. I can go, because it's 3 deep, I can put in 2 levels, 2 layers. And it's a hidden light. A few of those in this room should light up this room sufficiently enough. Now if we don't want to repeat this process several times over, we can copy this block and paste it where we want it. To do that, we're going to choose the pantograph. We're going to hit the F. We're going to take a snapshot with the left mouse button. We're going to hit F, replace shape mode. I'm going to put another pot light here. We want to identify the block. It'll be this one. We're going to go to our chisel, hit F. We're going to put the material here. Now that block is ready. Take a picture, come over here, right click. Now we have a pot light here. We'll need to do this with all of the blocks that we want to put a pot light on. We now have 5 pot lights in our little kitchen. Something else I learned about this chisel program is that I can take this block with me to another world and implement it there. But I have to do something in order to do that. It is called portfolio. First thing I do want to do right now is I want to name this block. So we're going to tap on our chisel. We're going to go over here to set name. Tap again. Pot light. I can go and do that with all of these. Or I can take a picture of our pot light and tap all of our other pot lights. And see, now they're all named. Now if I want to save this to my portfolio, we're going to go to the pantograph. We're going to hit F. We're going to take a snapshot, left mouse button. Then we're going to tap the period on our keyboard and type in PF save space pot light and enter. Now if I go to P, you can see that I have several items saved in my portfolio. Somewhere in here is our new pot light. There it is, right there. We can summon this particular item up at any point in time and put it anywhere we want, providing we have a block that is prepared. And a prepared block is just as we did here, making sure the materials are there. Again, this is my understanding of how this works. Alright, we now have lighting in our new kitchen. I am going to put my light block here in case I need to access it again. And we are going to grab the other materials that we need to start making kitchen cabinets. First thing I want to do is identify where my sink is going to be. It's going to be right here in the center of the window. First thing I want to do, and we are in creative mode, so you need to be very careful, especially here in this desolate world, because there's only 3 levels of rock before you fall through and sink into oblivion, or the abyss, or whatever's under a flat world. Originally my sink was going to be the cracked green marble, but after a few attempts I have learned that we can't use those. So we're going with the green marble rock polished. That's going to be the bottom of my sink. Now we're going to turn this block here into the back of our sink. We've identified it with our chisel. I'm going to hit the F. I'm going to put our marble here. Now I'm going to use what they call the hand planer. We're going to tap once with the left mouse key. And that takes away 1 layer of this rock. Now, because I don't know an easier way to do this, we're going to do it, unfortunately, 1 little voxel at a time. If there's an easier way, someone should tell me. Anyway, pick our marble, holding down my Alt key. In order for it to attach, you have to make sure you're hitting the material that is part of this little project. And there's the back of my sink. Now, because I want to be able to take this piece with me, we need to save it to the portfolio. But first, I want to name it. Go to the pantograph, hit the F, snapshot, right mouse key, it is now saved in our portfolio. Now I'm going to make a kitchen cabinet. Originally I was going to do it out of the debarked larch log, but I think I'm going to make my base out of the redwood log and the doors out of the larch. We're going to start with a block, identify it with the chisel by tapping the right mouse button while the chisel is highlighted. Going over to the steel hand planer on the top, left mouse button down, and that takes off 1 layer. And I'm going to replace that 1 layer with the green marble that we used here. The green marble is going to be our countertop. Back to the chisel, hit the F key, Drag our green marble up here. I'm going to tap it, and I'm going to fill in this whole thing with the green marble. Now again, if somebody knows an easier way to replace that layer, I haven't figured it out. Someone should tell me if there's an easier way to do this. Until then, we're going to do it one voxel at a time, holding down my Alt key. Pick a block, identify it with the chisel. We're going to use the planer, and I'm going to take off all but one layer. And then we're going to move that to there. And the way we're going to do that is by using our pickaxe. And it stays intact, it doesn't destroy it, so that's a good thing. And we put it back there, so what we need to do is spin it around. Now it's in front. On these cabinets, we need to put a layer of the marble to be our sink sides. The way we're going to do that, we're going to use the hand planer, left mouse button, one click, back to the chisel, and now we're going to fill in this one level. With that completed, we need to rotate this so that that's on the inside. Instead of repeating that same process for this one, we are just going to copy this block and paste it here. Now we're going to rotate it using our chisel and this option here, rotate. Now we have a sink enclosure of marble. Earlier I said there was one of two ways you can do this. You can of course just leave them like this, copy and paste your additional cabinets, or you can put drawer fronts or cabinet doors. Let's go take a look at these cabinets in here at one of the options that I used. This is the status of the cabinets we're looking at in the other room. I made a cabinet piece that fits on here. The reason I did that was because I wanted the cabinets to be flush with the sink. The sink requires an additional layer on the outside, and as you can see on the other cabinets, if you leave them like this, it's not flush with the sink because the sink has one layer out. I chose to make mine too deep because I wanted the sink marble not to show out here, so I put a wood piece in front of it, which required this part to have an additional 2 layers as well. You can copy that part, or You can use the planer, push this back one level, one layer, and create your door or drawer fronts here. Oh, I see an issue here. This may or may not hold water. You can see what I'm saying here is that this here should be out here. Should be one layer. I don't know if this will hold water. I tried putting water in a basin that was smaller than one block, and it flooded. Let's try this and see if it works. Here we are at our testing site. We have our kitchen set up down there just as it is in the building, with our sink front panel in the wrong place, I believe. We are going to put some water in here and see if it holds water. Let's take away all of our safety barriers here. Make absolutely sure that this test, it is not successful. We do not want to see water on this side. Either solution we come up with to solve this problem, we're going to have to dismantle this kitchen in a safe way, making sure that it doesn't flood. So we're going to put up our barriers here. Ordinarily I would just put a hay bale down in here, but we can't because this slab is taking up this space. So what I'm going to do is tap this slab very carefully so I don't hit the hay bale. Now I can put another hay bale in there. The water is gone. So we do know that this needs to go there. There we go. Now it's on the outside. That'll work. We are not seeing any indication of water on any of these pieces. That's what we want. We'll leave our little mock kitchen there for now, in case we have to test any more theories. But what we do know is this needs to be spun. Okay, we need to move it to the outside. There we go. Now again, back to the original question was, do we want to push this back and put our facade drawers and cabinet doors? Or do we want to paste an additional 2 layers on here for our cabinet doors to bring it out either level or past this point? So while we think about that, let's give this a little look-see. Okay, we're done playing with that. Before I decided to come to this little vacation spot, I didn't customize the world. So whatever happens here is all by default. Anyway, one of the reasons I'm putting so much consideration into this is this. I want cabinets that I can have storage hidden behind or in. And that can only be done with the one block facade. I did a little test, and I will show you that test. Okay, I do have it. Now this has to do with chiseled chests and vessels. These are special items that you can get here under this tab, Chisel Tools. There's the vessel, and there's the chest. There's a second one here, and I'm a little leery about playing with that one because it says it's no longer available, so does that mean it doesn't work? Anyway, so we're using this decorative chest. This little item can be set there. And you can put your newly chiseled block on it, over it, beside it. And you can access the storage capability in here. If you put a front on it, first of all, make sure you're clicking the box in front of it, not it itself. There. Now we have our cabinet, and we have our facade of cabinet doors. We cannot access the storage space by tapping on the front of the cabinet. We can access it from the side, and we can also access it from the top, but only in a very small area of the top. So my question for me is, do I want a whole kitchen full of these with the hidden storage inside, with the restriction of having a very small spot to click on to access that storage? It's a consideration. I was also thinking that quite possibly my kitchen wouldn't have all the storage here. I do have the storage up here, which works out perfectly. I was thinking, this here is the same issue as the cabinets. In order to put the facade of cabinet doors on here, I had to put a piece here to bring it flush. What it can do is create a different kind of setup here where I don't have this extra piece, and I can just have storage where the stove, the cooking area, would be. I wouldn't have all the storage here or here. It would just be above and in the cooking area. Alright, that's what I'm going to do. That way we get to try two different ways of doing this. Alright, first of all, there's also a couple of precautions doing this. If you accidentally hit it just wrong, the whole thing crumbles. And you have a little mess to clean up. I've only done that half a dozen times so far, so I know I just have to be more careful. For this cabinet, we are going to do the 2-layer facade. We're going to do drawers on one side and cabinet doors on the other. And the sink we're going to leave just like this. So this will be 2 layers, 1 layer out from what the sink is. We're going to start with our cabinet material. Going to identify it by highlighting the chisel and tapping on the block. Then we're going to hit the F key and we're going to add our other materials that we want to use. I'm going to use the large planks for the doors and drawers, and I'm going to use the green marble for little knobs. So those will be our 3 materials that we're going to use. This piece is going to fit right on the front of here. So we are going to take away all these down to 1 level. And that piece will go right there. Right now I'm going to label this, hitting the chisel. Now we're going to put our doors on. Hit the F key, identify the material we want to use, and we're going to do this 1 little voxel at a time. You see this bounding box here? This is where we can add. We cannot add back here. See the line? Our layer is not within this bounding box. Our layer is within this bounding box, so we can only add on this side. We also can't add up, and we can't add to the sides. We're going to do our doors first. And to do that, I'm going to hit G, and I'm going to hold down my Alt key, and we're just going to start adding . I'm going to take 1 layer away from the top because we are going to plane this down 1 and replace it with countertop material. This is going to be the space between the doors. And this is going to be our little doorknobs. Okay, let's grab our planer very, very carefully. 1 down. If we go any more than that, then we take the chance on messing up the work we've already done. So you want to be really, really careful about doing that. Alright, this is our countertop. And because countertops sometimes will stick out, I'm going to go ahead and put that little ledge on there. There we go. That is our facade. Let's go to the planer, take a picture of it, and put it in our portfolio. Now we can actually move it to the cabinet. To make one for this side, we need to, like we've done with all the others, you have to add your materials. Now we have 2 cabinets and 2 facades. To make additional cabinets, we are going to make more chisel blocks by adding our materials, redwood log and our green marble. Redwood log is a given, that's our base material. We're going to add our green marble. Come back over here, take a picture. Come over here and paste. We do the same thing over here. For a corner, I'm not going to put anything because the next one would just cover it up anyway. For these 2 cabinets, I found it a little bit tricky to make a facade. For that, we put a block here, add our materials, which is going to be large planks and the marble for the little handles. And we are going to take material off all the way back to just the 2 layers. Chiseling is not a fast project. Now we need to remove a layer because our cabinet doors are a different material. I've removed 1 layer, and as you can see, we have a couple of spots here. In order to fill those in, you just right-click and that'll fill them in. This one here is a spot out of the flooring. I don't think we can fill that one in. I kind of have a feeling the only way to fix that is going to be to replace that block. There, fixed. We are going to move this cabinet front over to this cabinet. Go to our chisel and just rotate it. Now we need to put our cabinet door facades on here. This is one whole piece. So we're going to choose this and the larch and just start filling in. And there we have our completed kitchen cabinets. I did drawers on this end, and I put a panel on here, and over here we made 2 large doors. Now, back here, I'm debating if I want to take this top layer off and do a layer of rock like this back here. There is one other thing that we can do. There we go. That should work. One layer. I'm going to bring that down here so we can work on it. Now we're going to go to the chisel. I'm going to hold my Alt key so that it doesn't spin around on me. There. That is what I called a sink frame. And that fits right there. Yeah. I think I'm going to, oh golly. Do we need to eat again? Alright, hold on. Let's eat. Kind of in the middle of something here. Yeah, I'm going to fill this in with the cobblestone. We're just going to take one out at a time and replace it with the cobblestone. There we go. Done. And those are our lower kitchen cabinets. Let's quickly review how we save these to our portfolio. Pantograph. Take a snapshot. Period. PF. Save. Name your piece and hit enter. Do that for each of your pieces. You wouldn't need to do it for the duplicate pieces, just for the unique ones. We've done this cabinet doors, which means we don't need to do these, but we do need to do these because these are drawers. I am going to do the sink back. And I'm going to do this front piece of the sink. And of course, our corner doors. That should be all of our unique pieces. We can go to the portfolio and we can check. I'm not sure how to remove an individual item from here other than going to the folder that stores that list. Because I downloaded the game to my D drive and created a second install of the game, I would find mine in my data folder. And you're looking for a Chisel portfolio. I did test it. I went to that folder and I deleted one of the little entries, and it did indeed take it off of this. I know I have some duplicates in here now, which I will probably have to come back and clean this up a little bit. For now, that's our kitchen cabinets. And we've done pot lights. and we will come back with more.